What was that like? What was how's your media journey been? You know, has it been tough? Like when you first got out of college, wanted to get into that field. Like, what was it like when you said to yourself, you know what, let me jump all in here and let me see what this is about. How like give me a little bit about your journey to where
Yeah.
you are now.
Well, I don't want to say it's been easy because it's nothing in this job is ever easy, but it's been straightforward for me because I had always had my mindset on journalism from the time I was like 10. That's what I knew I wanted to do is writing in some sort of way. And I think I really honed in on journalism specifically by the time I was in high school, and honed in on sports journalism by the end of high school. So like I went to University of Missouri. I grew up in San Jose, California, which is the Bay Area. And I went to University of Missouri specifically to go to their journalism school because it's very good, which was obviously a big culture shift just going from California to Missouri. But I had a great time there. I learned a lot. I majored specifically in sports journalism because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I got a lot of hands-on experience just through college. But it was funny how I ended up in Louisville afterwards because it was like 2 weeks before I was supposed to graduate college. So in 2016. And basically, my two job opportunities were either to stay there in Columbia, Missouri and cover preps for a local paper, or go to some paper in Northwest Arkansas and cover like preps, but also like the outdoors, which I'm still not really clear on what that is. I think it would have been like rodeo and like fishing, and I don't know. Didn't excite me the most, but I was just like, you know what? I want a job. I know this is the industry that I want to go into. So like, I'll take whatever in order to get a foothold. And then a couple weeks before I was going to graduate, I hadn't decided what I was going to do yet. I get a call from Pat Forty, who is now at Sports Illustrated. At the time, was still at Yahoo, and he is also a Missouri grad, and we had become friends through a network. And he called and said, you know, the paper in Louisville has an opening. They're looking for a Kentucky basketball beat writer, so you might want to reach out. And so I write myself a nice little email. I'm like, hey, you know, I know I'm really young, just coming out of school, but, you know, would really love this opportunity. Here's all my stuff. And the editor writes back and says, I don't know what you're talking about. We're not hiring for this. Like Kyle Tucker, who was in the job at the time, he's not leaving. Like, I don't know where you heard that. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. So sorry. And then a couple days later, I get a phone call and they're like, so you were right. And Kyle Tucker is leaving. He just hadn't told us yet. And we think it's funny that you scooped us on our own writer leaving. So we can't give you the UK beat because that's a big deal. But if you want to come here and intern for a few months, basically, if you don't mess up, we'll hire you for something. And so that's how I wound up in Louisville and, you know, had a bunch of different jobs there, but worked my way up to the Louisville basketball beat over the course of 3 years and you know, covered that team for a while, and then, you know, covered them for the Athletic for the last season. So, you know, I think the moral of the story here that I always tell like anyone else who wants to get into journalism, no matter what your background is like, use your network and take your chances. Like, it never hurts to ask for something. It never hurts to reach out and make connections with people, because like that's how this works. That's how I ended up in Memphis, as the editor here had a mutual friend of another editor of mine, and so they connected and reached out to me, and like that's just kind of how it works.
My guy Luke Murray's at Louisville. That's my guy.
Yeah, I know Luke.
I know Luke well. Yeah, he coached the AU program that I played for, the New England Players, before he got into college, and I knew him very well. I talked to him quite often. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's a good dude. He somehow knew I was coming to Memphis before I like had told anyone. He texted me like, "Congrats on Memphis." I was like, "How did you know?" He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.